Hello everyone, welcome back to Immigration Fridays, your go-to source for all things US immigration. I'm your host, Prashanti Reddy, and today we're tracking a crucial step for many of you, the family green card interviews, and what's happening in 2025 with reference to family green card interviews. This can be a nerve-wracking experience, as you all know. But with the right preparation, you can feel confident that you can crack these kind of interviews. So let's focus on how best to prepare for your family-based green card. What's happening with green card interviews under the present administration? So under the previous administration, under Biden's administration, there were often waivers granted for in-person interviews for green cards, allowing applicants to forego having to come in person. This resulted in faster processing time and a lesser burden for the applicants. The Biden administration first implemented these kind of interview waiver policies for employment-based cases, and then they expanded that to family-based cases, especially for certain types of family-based cases, such as parents and children of US citizens, and also some spouses of US citizens as well. However, under the present Trump administration, the present administration is not in favor of granting interview waivers due to concerns regarding green card fraud and abuse, etc. So for that reason, going forward, we can expect more employment-based and family-based interviews to be conducted. This will lead to, of course, the slowing down of processing. Also lead to USCIS backlogs. Next, let's talk about who needs to attend a green card interview. For a family-based green card interview, the following individuals are typically required to come for the interview. First of all, the applicant, the person who's filing the application. That's the person filing for the green card or the form I-485. They must definitely attend the interview. Second is the petitioner or the sponsor, so the US citizen or lawful permanent resident who filed the I-130 petition. They're also in most instances required to attend the interview, and they have to attend the interview in marriage-based cases. But however, in some non-marriage-based cases, such as parents and children of US citizens, it's possible that the sponsor may not have to attend. Always make sure you look at your interview notice to see who has to attend and who should not attend. But it's always better to have the sponsor attend, so that this will speed up things and they won't ask questions later or require another interview later. Derivative applicants. So the children of the primary applicants, they have to attend these green card interviews as well, children or spouse, and there's no exception for that. Now, you can have your attorney attend the interview as well. That's optional, of course. You can bring an interpreter with you if needed. That's also optional. And in certain special cases, such as if the petitioner is in the military, they can waive their appearance, or if the petitioner is incarcerated, they may waive their appearance as well. But however, in that instance, the applicant must appear. Now let's talk a little bit about the documents needed for an interview. What documents are you supposed to take for your interview? And these documents are really a foundation for your success at your interview. The thoroughness of your preparation and the importance of bringing originals as well as photocopies of everything will really make a big difference in how smoothly your interview process takes place. And I think everything needs to be taken for the interview, especially, all those documents that are relevant. I would just taking a copy of your entire petition that was filed. So let's talk about what documents are needed specifically. You need the government photo ID, and remember, all these documents have to be taken in original, and you have to take a photocopy as well. They will give you back the original and they'll keep the photo. So you need government issued ID, so that means you need your passport in this instance, the approval notice, the appointment notice, if you have an I-130 approval, that is, the 485 receipt notice, your birth certificate, and any English translation if it's not in English. Of course, your passport, your marriage certificate, especially if you're applying through marriage. Divorce decrees or a death certificate if you were previously married. Medical examination report, I-693, which is sealed. If you've already submitted it with your package to USCIS, you may not have to submit it again. Look at what the interview notice asks you to do. Your employment authorization card, if it's been issued, and your advance parole. Sometimes the EAD and advance parole are issued in one card. Now all those documents are for the applicant. Now if you're the petitioner, you'd again need your photo ID. You need proof of US citizenship, so that could be your naturalization certificate, your birth certificate, a copy of your passport, any of these documents. If you're a permanent resident, then a copy of your green card and the original. The I-130 receipt and any approval that you got. Affidavit of support, I-864. This is the affidavit of support which you, the petitioner, are signing on behalf of the applicant, stating that you will, on behalf of the beneficiary, stating that you will be supporting them financially. In addition to the affidavit of support, which you might have submitted in your USCIS package, at your interview you should take your recent tax returns, last 3 years, and if possible, get IRS transcripts, call ahead, your W-2s, pay stubs, employment verification letter, and proof of assets if you put any assets in your I-864. Now for marriage-based cases especially, there are some additional documents that you need to take. These are joint documents to show bona fide marriage. Those documents could be a joint lease or mortgage of the place where you're staying, joint bank statements, utility bills on both names, insurance policies listing each other's as the beneficiaries, photos taken together with family at events, on vacations, travel itineraries or tickets where you took trips together, and birth certificates of the children in original if there are any children. For derivative applicants, as I told you, derivative, the children or spouses are sometimes derivative applicants, and if they're going, then you need to get their birth certificates to show proof of relationship, passport, and of course 485 and the medical records if needed. Now let's talk about how you should prepare for the questions, what questions you can expect at a green card. So the questions will mainly cover your personal background, your travel history, employment history, your educational background maybe, your current immigration status, and for family-based cases you can expect a deep dive into the specifics of your relationship and proof of relationship. So here are some of the common questions that they ask at the interview. With reference to personal information, they may ask you, what is your name, your date of birth, your current address, have you used any other names, what are your parents' names, and where do they live. Usually this information is in the 485 form, so they might just read it off that. Relationship history. Now they'll ask for, especially for marriage-based cases, they might ask for questions such as, how and where did you meet? When did you get married? Where was the wedding? Taken place? Where did the wedding take place? And who attended? How many people attended? Where did you go for your honeymoon? What do you do together on weekends? Who does the cooking? What is your spouse's favorite color? And questions of any medications that your spouse takes. What are your spouse's hobbies? When is the last time you saw your spouse's parents or your spouse's family? They can also ask questions such as shared household details, such as how many rooms in your home, what color is your refrigerator, who pays the rent, do you have a joint bank account, and also questions with reference to your employment and education, where you're currently working, what's your typical work schedule, what is your spouse's job or salary, what is his work schedule, and they can also ask you questions with reference to your immigration status. When did you first enter the US? Have you ever been removed from the US, etc., etc. There are a bunch of questions in the 485 with reference to all the bad things. It could be security related questions, questions related to whether you have a criminal background, questions related to your immigration history. And they might ask you verbatim those questions from the form and you have to answer yes or no. So please remember to listen to the question carefully before you answer it. And if you don't understand what is being, please ask the question. Please say that you don't understand instead of responding to the wrong question. Some interview tips on the day of the interview. What should you be doing? Dress appropriately. Choose professional or business casual attire. This shows that you respect the process. Arrive early, at least 30 minutes before your interview. And very importantly, stay calm, stay composed. I know it's normal to be nervous, but it's important that you maintain eye contact and have a calm demeanor. Bring all the documents that you need. Put them, arrange them properly in separate folders, organize them, and have maybe copies in a separate folder and originals in a separate folder. Always be honest in your responses because I can't stress enough how important it is not to lie and the consequences of lying to a USCIS officer. If needed, request for an interpreter. Most interviews, all interviews are done in English, and so if you're not comfortable with the language, you can either request for an interpreter in advance, or you can bring an interpreter with you. So, at these interviews, an officer is looking for a bona fide marriage. So you can expect that they'll ask all questions to ensure that the marriage is bona fide. So preparing for a family green card interview can seem daunting, but with careful planning, thorough document preparation, and practicing common questions with your family members or with your attorney can lead to a good result. So that's all for this episode of Immigration Fridays. If you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly insights. And that's it. See you next week.